Oh, hello there. Welcome back to Substream News. Well, we've got 6 stories to cover this week, so I don't have time to plead for new subscribers, so let's just jump straight into it. Let's go. This first story might just be one of the best technological innovations of all time. And I'm not exaggerating, I actually think this story is mind-blowing. And the funny thing is, originally it was further down my list, but the more research I did, the more I realized you need to know about this because it could change the future of civilization as we know it. And I'm not being dramatic. Okay, so get this. Scientists from Pohang University in South Korea have developed a catalyst for the urea oxidation reaction, enhancing hydrogen generation efficiency. Isn't that amazing?
Bro, what are you talking about, man?
Yeah, no, I didn't understand that either. So, that's a bit too scientific. Let's try again. Professor Kang-woo Cho and PhD candidate Ji-seon Kim have devised a novel catalyst to make urea reactions in municipal sewage generate hydrogen. No, I still didn't get it either. Simplified, they're turning pee into power. Yes, urine, PP. And I'm not sure if we can call this clean energy, but it's definitely renewable. Well, when I first read the headline, which was Breakthrough Catalyst Turns Sewage into Clean Energy, honestly, the first thing that came to mind was poo. I thought brown waste contains more energy potential, and so I was fully expecting to read a poo story. And no, this is about urine. So, what does it mean? Well, the scientists found that urea, which is a pollutant in urine, releases lots of chemicals and energy as it oxidizes. And so, if we can enhance the efficiency of hydrogen generation and the purification of toilet wastewater through this process, there's a lot of benefits that can come from it. So, right now we have water hydrolysis technology, which is where you take water and turn it or use it to generate hydrogen and capture that to generate clean energy. Now, at the moment, the technology is there, but it's not very efficient. It's what they call it a low energy conversion efficiency. So it's not great. But they found that actually urine is better when a catalyst is applied to it. So, whoosh, we have a new power source. Professor Kang-woo Cho, who led the research, he said this. This is an actual quote. "We have developed a catalyst capable of purifying municipal sewage while simultaneously enhancing the efficiency of hydrogen production, a green energy source." I think this is amazing, and I'm sure we're going to hear more about this in future, because if we can turn urine in the sewage into clean energy, well, I think most of the governments in the world will be very interested. So kudos to these researchers at Pohang University. Let's move on. Hello. I'm not mocking. That was my little demonstration of an electrolarynx. So you might be familiar with an electrolarynx, you might not. If you've seen Ong Bak, the martial arts movie, the bad guy uses a electrolarynx. There's a guy in My Name is Earl who uses an electrolarynx. And also, if you watch South Park, what's his name? Ned Garblansky, he also uses a electrolarynx. And it's a small battery-powered device, generally for people who've lost or severely damaged their vocal cords, usually through cancer of the larynx. And it basically vibrates to help them produce sound and speak when they wouldn't otherwise be able to. Why is this in the news? I'm going to tell you. Our good friend artificial intelligence has helped to overcome the electrolarynx, and scientists have used machine learning, to create a more efficient process. And it will allow those without vocal cords or with damaged vocal cords to speak. So let me tell you more. Researchers and engineers from UCLA have made this soft, thin, stretchy device you can see in the image, about 1 square inch in size, and it just applies over your throat. guess it looks and feels a bit like a band-aid or plaster. Developed by Jun Chen, an assistant professor of bioengineering at UCLA, this small device can basically detect movements in the muscles of your larynx. Even though they're damaged or the vocal cords are gone, they feel just the slightest little movements and are able to translate those into data for machine learning to predict what you're trying to say. And it has a 95% efficiency rate. 95%. That little plaster can do something truly incredible for the millions of people who need electrolarynxes or who have learned sign language as an alternative. So I mentioned movies, cartoons, TV shows at the start of this. This is quite sci-fi. I think personally this is more impressive than the bionic prosthetic arms that feel, I guess in the same way, feel your desired muscle movements where there's no longer a limb. But you know, an arm's a big thing. The muscles are larger. A leg, same, is much larger. Surely the twitches and movements are more clearly detectable. But your throat, in such a small area, and where the vocal cords might not be there or are damaged, for it to be able to feel at a 95% efficiency rate, I just think that's spectacular. And so I'm so impressed by Professor Chen and his team. Well, there's more. Professor Jun Chen, I'm going to shout out him again. This is just a little side story, but he invented a glove for people who can't talk. And that glove is a wearable that can translate American Sign Language into English speech in real time to help users of ASL communicate with those who don't know how to sign. And so Chen, a bit more about Chen. He is an award-winning bioengineer globally for the last 5 years. He's won loads of awards, and he leads the Wearable Bioelectronics Research Group at UCLA. There's going to be so many more innovations that come from Chen. I can feel it. This guy has a great way of thinking and helping those who have disadvantages like speech or who need to sign for whatever reason. I'm so impressed. Great start to this video. Let's keep going. Let's just on a roll. Let's go, guys. Now, I want to keep the mood good, but there are some people out there who think the whole world is about war and misery and wokeism and division, and clearly they're not subscribed and watching Substream News, because we're finding innovation, futurism, positive dystopia, if such a thing exists, progress, innovation. We just love it. This next story is a huge innovation coming out of China. It might be ethically contentious, but it's already happened. So a brain-dead human in China, medically brain-dead, was given a liver transplant from a pig. And this is a gene-edited pig liver, not just a normal standard pig liver from the farm. So apparently China is suffering from a shortage of organ donors, and I think that's actually a problem in many places in the world. And of course the black and grey market for organs is fully illegal, I think, everywhere in the world. It does happen, but looking to animals, could be a very good alternative, although I'm sure animal rights protesters won't agree. But these gene editing advancements in China promise to enhance efficiency and accessibility in plant modification, reflecting broader strides in medical innovation. So it says there's about 2 million people who die of liver disease each year, and xenotransplantation, which is the act of interspecies organ transplants, could offer a viable solution. A little anecdote related to this. My favourite author growing up was Marjorie Blackman, who you may or may not have heard of. She had a book, and this story reminded me of Pig Heart Boy. It's a 1997 novel about a 13-year-old boy on the verge of death. He's offered a pig heart, and he takes it, and it's meant to be a secret, but everyone finds out and changes his life. He becomes famous, and he has to live with the consequences. I remember it was a great book, and this story reminded me. And I guess there's ethical considerations, but there's personal considerations. You have to live with the knowledge that you have a pig liver. And I think for most people, it's not an issue if it saves your life. But other people will be quick to criticize and comment, and that's the kind of negativity that we should look to avoid. Just focus on doing you best and being healthy. And, you can avoid liver disease by looking after your liver and taking good steps. Remember resveratrol, remember doing more exercise, all of the healthy things we've covered in previous videos. Go back, watch them. We've given you loads of ways to extend your life, live more healthily, and take better care of your internal and external health. Moving on, let's go. YouTubers must now inform YouTube if their videos are AI generated. Yeah, I'm sure you've seen content. I'm sure you know what I'm doing there. The blinking's weird. The hands are repetitive. It's a bit bizarre. I thought I knew immediately when I'm watching generative AI video, but it has got so much better that sometimes I'm not sure. Are you sure? Let us know in the comments how you feel about generative AI videos, and I'll share a little content anecdote with you about that. But this story is that YouTube will ask you whether you've used like edited or synthetic AI, generative AI in your videos. It needs to know, and this update is immediate. It's already in place. Here's my anecdote. Okay, there's a channel I love. It's architecture, interior design. It's about small spaces and how to make them, design them efficiently. And the presenter, he's kind of my age, handsome, likable guy, I think British, and look, he just has a great way of explaining stuff, and he built a huge audience. I'm not naming names. I'm not going to say who he is. You can probably find him easily, but he built this audience doing great content, and it was definitely him. And then seamlessly, he transitioned into an AI avatar. And I don't think I noticed right away. I think I watched several videos before the penny dropped. And I thought, this isn't him. I realized I'm basically watching a loop where his gestures are repetitive. His blinking's weird. He never pauses. He never has these natural markers of genuine human speech. I don't even think it breathes, So I'm watching it and I'm thinking, this isn't right. There's something wrong with this. And then I say, this blurred background is always the same. It's clearly just a fake backdrop like you might have on a Zoom or Google Meet call. And he's so perfect. There's not a crease in his t-shirt. His face has no blemishes. His beard's perfect. I thought, yeah, there's no way this is real. And I thought maybe it's brushed up, but the more I watched, I said, oh, this is generative AI. So I went down to the comments. Not a single person in any of these videos had commented or noticed. And there were even comments from female fans saying, oh, you look so handsome, you're so wonderful, your presentation skills are amazing, nobody does it quite like you. And I thought, yeah, because it's AI. Hey, good for him because he's got millions of subs, millions of views. But be careful out there. You might have to ask yourself the question, are my favorite presenters really them? Or are they an AI version of themselves? Because my guy I've just told you about was able to replace himself and probably save himself hundreds of man hours in the process, and without a reduction in quality. In fact, it's probably better quality now, and that's the scary part. Anyway, I think it's time to move on. Thank you for sticking with us. I appreciate this is a longer video than usual. It may be, but I've rambled and I've given you some anecdotes. But now a quick one. The top 5 areas in the US where the number of millionaires is growing the fastest. For my American viewers, think now, what areas do you think are getting the most millionaires? Well, I'm going to tell you. In at number 5, we have the Bay Area, California. In the last 10 years, this is over a decade, the number of millionaires in the Bay Area has grown by 82% to 306,000. That is quite staggering. At number 4, it's a small area called Greenwich and Darien in Connecticut. This has had an 84% increase in millionaires to about 12,500. So that's a small, rich community, I guess. Number 3, Floridians. We have Palm Beach and West Palm Beach. The number of millionaires grew by 93% to 10,200. Number 2, we have Scottsdale, Arizona. And the number of millionaires living in Scottsdale doubled in the past decade, so it's a 102% increase, now 14,500 millionaires. So that comes to number 1. Now, as soon as I saw the headline, I knew where this was going because there's been a huge tech migration out of San Francisco, also out of New York, and they've gone to, maybe you've guessed it, Austin, Texas. That is the new tech hub of the US. So this is great. Great, I don't know. This is a fact. But between 2013 and 2023, the number of millionaires living in the Lone Star State grew 110% to 32,700. But more than that, there are in Austin, there are 92 people worth more than $100 million, and there are 10 billionaires in the area. Billion with B. That is pretty amazing. So the population of Austin is just over 1 million itself. So that's a pretty big number of millionaires in that space. Wow. Let's move on. And on a lighter note. Startup Interloon has raised $18 million to go to the moon and extract a rare chemical called Helium-3. Now, Helium-3, very rare on Earth, exists in just tiny, tiny amounts. But on the moon, it is in abundance, and that's great news for scientists and data and technology, because this chemical, Helium-3, can be used for quantum computing, national security, which is just politician speak for weapons, and medical imaging and fusion energy. So it really can do quite a lot of amazing stuff. Here's what they've said. They aim to eventually support an in-space economy by harvesting rare earth elements, industrial metals, and water. The startup claims its patent-pending technology uses the industry's smallest and most energy-efficient machinery. My thought is, when resources are in short supply on Earth, why not let out our true inner interplanetary parasitic ape humanoid being nature and just go somewhere else and take what they've got, because that seems to be the way it's going. Personally, I don't think we should be looking to space for resources. I think even colonizing the other planets is unnecessary and bizarre. We should be looking at planet A, and not planet B. We've got a lot of work to do here on Earth to make this a more better, habitable, enjoyable, loving, kind place to live. And a lot of people forget that far too often. And if you agree, I'd ask you to subscribe to this channel, because we want to share news for people who want a better Earth with more progress. Thank you for watching. I'm Joseph, and I will see you next time.